Hi everyone, today I will be explaining two types of Islamic money market instruments, namely Islamic Negotiable Instruments of Deposit or INID and Sell and Buyback Agreements SBBA. I will briefly discuss their concepts and application. So here, firstly is Islamic Negotiable Instruments of Deposit or INID. INID is a Sharia compliant certificate issued by an Islamic bank when customer or institution place deposit for a certain period. Unlike conventional deposit that earn interest, INID is based on Islamic contracts such as mudarabah or commodity murabaha. This means investors earn profit from Sharia compliant activities instead of receiving interest. Another important feature is that the certificate can be traded or transferred before its maturity date subject to Sharia requirements. Now let's look at how INID works. An investor places funds with an Islamic bank and the bank issues an INID certificate. The bank then uses the fund for Sharia compliant investment. When the certificate matures, the investor receives the profit generated from those investments. There are also several uses of INID and it is mainly used as a short-term investment instrument and help Islamic banks manage their liquidity efficiently. Next is Sell and Buyback Agreement. SBBA is an Islamic financial arrangement where one party sells a Sharia compliant asset and agrees to buy it back at a future date for an agreed price. This instrument is based on the concept of buy al-ina, which involves two separate sale transactions. The main purpose of SBBA is to help financial institutions obtain short-term funding while remaining compliant with Sharia principle. In terms of application, Bank A first sell a Sharia-compliant asset to Bank B and immediately receive cash. A repurchase agreement is then signed and at the agreed maturity date, Bank A buys back the asset at a predetermined price. So, the uses of SBPA is commonly used for short-term liquidity management, cash flow management, and interbank money market transactions. So overall, we can see that INID focuses on investment and liquidity management, while SBBA focuses on short-term financing and funding needs.
Next, my name is Nur Anshada and I will present on the comparative analysis in terms of application and purpose of INID and SBBAI. Firstly, INID is mainly used as a short-term funding and investment instrument. It allows Islamic banks to raise funds from investors while providing investors with an opportunity to earn returns on their surplus funds. Therefore, INID serves both as a financing source for banks and institutional investors and corporations. In contrast, SBBAI used as a liquidity management instrument. It enables Islamic financial institutions to obtain immediate cash by selling Sharia-compliant securities and agreeing to repurchase them at a later date. This helps banks manage temporary liquidity shortage without resorting to interest-based borrowing. Another difference is in the uses of these instruments. INID is commonly used by Islamic banks, corporations, and institutional investors for investment and fund placement purposes. Meanwhile, SBBAI is mainly used among Islamic financial institutions in the interbank market for short-term liquidity management. In summary, INID focuses on fund mobilization and investment activities, whereas SBBAI focuses on providing liquidity and ensuring the smooth flow of funds within the Islamic banking system. Next, the comparative analysis in terms of advantages and disadvantages of INID and SBBAI. Starting with INID, one of its main advantages is that it is tradable in secondary market, which provides flexibility and liquidity to investors. It is also considered a relatively low-risk investment instrument and offers return to investors who place surplus funds with Islamic banks. However, INID also has some limitation. The returns generated may be lower compared to higher-risk investment instruments. In addition, its liquidity depends on market demand, meaning investors may face difficulties selling the instrument if there are limited buyers in the market. Moving on to the SBBAI, its key advantage is that it provides immediate liquidity to financial institutions. This makes it an effective tool for managing short-term cash needs. It is also a simple and efficient mechanism that supports liquidity management in Islamic banking sector while remaining Sharia compliant. On the other hand, SBBAI requires institutions to hold eligible Islamic securities before they can enter into the agreement. Its usage is also mainly limited to financial institutions rather than individual or corporate investors. It is not suitable for long-term financing. That's all from me.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For my section, I'll present two case studies that demonstrate the use of Islamic money market instruments in Malaysia. So the first case study involved Islamic Negotiable Instruments or Deposit or INID used by Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad. Bank Islam utilized INID as part of its liquidity management strategy to raise short-term funds. Through the issuance of Sharia compliance negotiable deposits, the bank was able to obtain funding from investors while complying with Islamic principles. At the same time, the instrument provided financial institutions with a secure and liquid investment option. The second case study involved the Sell and Buyback Agreement I or SBBAI within Malaysia's Islamic Interbank Money Market, also known as the IIMM. Under this mechanism, Islamic banks sold eligible Islamic securities to other institutions and agreed to repurchase them at a later date. This arrangement allowed banks experiencing temporary liquidity shortages to obtain immediate funds while maintaining Sharia compliance. So, the use of SBBAI helped facilitate interbank financing activities, improve cash flow management, and support the smooth functioning of the Islamic banking system in Malaysia. In conclusion, both INID and SBBAI play important roles in Malaysia's Islamic money market. While INID helps banks raise short-term funds, SBBAI provides a practical solution for a short-term liquidity management among Islamic financial institutions. That's all from me. Thank you.